All right, so we're going to keep going today with our integers unit. And today we are talking about properties. All right, I say integers because we did order of operations and that's integers. I know we did integers before, so it's still kind of a big integers unit. Anyway, so we're talking about properties today. I think you might have a little bit of background knowledge on this from elementary school. I'm not really sure. Because some teachers do, some teachers don't. I also don't really know how, with the way the school year ended last year. Anyway, there's 4 properties that we talk about in 6th grade, but we don't really spend a lot of time with them because there's only really one main one we talk about. So we're going to talk about all of them today, but really spend a couple days on one of the main ones. So the first property here is commutative property. The biggest thing to remember with commutative property is that the order does not matter. What I mean by that is if I do 2 plus 3, or if I do 3 plus 2, I'm still going to get the same answer. All right. It works with addition and multiplication. So commutative property is only with addition and multiplication. It doesn't work with subtraction or division because obviously order matters for those. But when you're adding and subtracting, it does not matter what order the numbers are in. You're still going to get the same answer. It doesn't matter if there's 3 numbers, 6 numbers, 12 numbers. No matter what order you put them in, it's always going to give you the same answer. So that's why commutative property order does not matter. So just a couple examples. If we did 3 plus 5 plus 8. Okay. And then on the other side, if I did 5 plus 8 plus 3. All right, I think you can agree that the order has changed. These are no longer in the same order, but they are the same numbers. They have to be the same numbers, but they just have to be in a different order. All right, so let's see. 3 plus 5 is 8. So that's going to give me 16. On this side, 5 plus 8 is 13. 13 plus 3 is 16. So see, it does not matter which way you do it. You're still going to get the same answer. Same thing with multiplication. If I fit that over here, if I do 2 times 7, or if I do 7 times 2, they're still going to give me 14. Okay? So commutative property, the main thing to remember here is order. Order does not matter for commutative property. Okay? Next one, associative property. So the associative property is grouping. And I don't say parentheses because you're going to think it's parentheses, but by grouping, I'm talking about how the numbers are grouped together. So yes, it's dealing with parentheses, but don't let parentheses be your keyword that you think of with associative property because there's 2 properties that deal with parentheses. So I don't want you to get them confused. Associative property has to do with more than being grouped together. So like these 2 are grouped together here, but 2 other ones are grouped together on this side. The way that you group them together is not going to change the sum or product. So once again, we're only talking about adding and subtracting. Adding and multiplying. If you do subtraction or division, it will change the order and it will not be the same. So it doesn't work for those. So once again, this is just with adding and multiplying. So for example, if I give you, let's see, 2 plus 4 plus 7. All right, the order's not going to change. You're going to leave the numbers in the exact same order. So I can go ahead and write it like this on the other side. But now this time, these 2 are going to be grouped together. So you see what I mean by grouping? Yes, they're parentheses, but like I said, don't remember it by parentheses. Remember it by how they're grouped together. Over here, the 2 and the 4 are grouped together. Over here, the 4 and the 7 are grouped together. The order has not changed, so it's not commutative property. The order is the exact same, 2, 4, 7, 2, 4, 7. The only thing that's changed is which numbers are grouped together, okay? So now you would kind of solve it like order of operations. I'm going to do this first because it's in parentheses. So this is 6 plus 7, which would give me 13. Over here, I'm going to do this first because it's in parentheses. So 2 plus 4 plus 7 is 11. 2 plus 11 is 13. So either way you do it, you still get 13. Same thing with multiplication. If I did 5 times 3 times 2, once again, same order, 5 times 3 times 2. Let me just change where my parentheses are. Okay, So here I'm going to do this first. So I get 5 times 6, which is 30. Over here, I'm doing this first. So that's 15 times 2, which is still 30. Okay? So remember, cumulative property, you change the order of the numbers, it's not going to change the answer. Associative property, you change which numbers are grouped together, it's not going to change the answer. Okay? Then we go down to identity property. The hint for this one is the mirror. Okay? So what I mean by that is when you look in the mirror, what you see is exactly what you should. Okay? It's not like you're seeing something that shouldn't be there. Same thing with identity property. If you're adding 0 to a number, the number that you're looking at is the number that you're going to get. That number is not going to change. Same thing for multiplication. If you do 1 times any number, the only number you're going to get is that number itself. Okay, so identity property, identity, think about who you are. Okay, you're not going to change. These numbers are not going to change. 0 is not going to change an addition problem. 1 is not going to change a multiplication problem. So if I have 13 plus 0, I'm still getting 13. All right. Or if I have, let's see, 0 plus 5, I'm still getting 5. Okay. For multiplication, if I do 1 times 16, my answer is going to be 16. Or if I do 43 times 1, I'm still getting 43. In other words, identity property is whatever number you're starting with, that's the number you're ending with. Whether it's multiplication or addition, the number you start with, the answer is going to be that number as well. All right, last property, and this is the one we're going to spend multiple days on because this is very heavy in 6th grade. The distributive property. A lot of times when I first start teaching this, I talk about, well, what does distribute mean? And hopefully some people have some understanding of what distribute means. Distribute means when you pass things out. All right, so like FedEx is a distributor. They deliver things. They pass things out to people. Amazon, UPS, even the post office, like all those people are distributors. They're passing things out to people. What distributive property is talking about is you're going to have a number that's outside the parentheses. That number is going to be delivered to all the numbers that are inside the parentheses. So if it's one number, then it gets delivered to that one number. If it's 2 numbers, it gets delivered to those 2 numbers. 3 numbers, those 3 numbers. So however many numbers are inside, that's how many numbers that number on the outside has to go with. All right. And if you didn't know, when you have a number that's beside parentheses, it means you're multiplying. So those numbers on the inside are getting multiplied by the number on the outside. That's really confusing to think about if you don't see an example. So let me show you an example. If we have 5 and then 2 plus 3, okay? Order of operations, you can solve this, okay? But starting tomorrow when we do these problems, you're going to see some examples that you can't do order of operations with because there are going to be some letters, some variables thrown in here. So that makes things different. So we're going to do distributive property to solve this, all right? So whatever number's out here has to be delivered to both numbers in here. So imagine if this is the FedEx truck. If FedEx has a package for both of these houses, it's not like FedEx is just going to go to this house and then not deliver this house's package. It has to go to both houses to deliver the package. So we draw arrows so that we don't forget that it does have to go to both of them. Now remember, it's sitting outside the parentheses. When a number is beside parentheses, it means that it's being multiplied. So this would be written as 5 times 2. So I delivered it to this house. Plus, all I'm doing is taking that plus sign right there. And now I need to deliver it to this house. 5 times 3. And now I would solve it. Okay? 5 times 2 is 10. Plus 5 times 3 is 15. Add those together, we get 25. All right? So any number that's out here has to be delivered to the houses that are inside the parentheses. A lot of times the number one mistake people make is that they only deliver it to the first one and they forget to do the second one. Okay, it has to go to everything that's inside those parentheses. So we have 8 parentheses 4 minus 1. Okay, doesn't matter if it's subtraction. Distributed property you can do with both. So remember, whatever's on the outside has to be distributed to anything that's on the inside. Okay, most of the time you'll see 2 numbers on the inside. That's what we deal with most of the time, but sometimes you will have 3. We'll do plenty of those examples in the later days. So the first thing I do is 8 times 4 minus, because all I'm doing is taking the sign. Whatever sign is inside your parentheses, that's the sign that goes with it. And then I need to do 8 times 1. And now I can just solve it. 8 times 4 is 32. 8 times 1 is 8. 32 minus 8 is 24. Okay? So those are your 4 properties. We're just going to spend a day on this. And then, like I said, the next couple of days, we'll talk about distributive property because that's the main one that's tested in 6th grade. But I do want you to have some understanding of the other ones. So if you'll complete today's assignment after watching this video, that'd be great.